right, here we go. Luenell, my favorite female repeat guest, my only female repeat guest, back on VladTV.
Here I am.
Here you are. Here you are. Doing well, as always. You know, you tell me about some of the business deals in the works. There's a lot of big things coming your way. I'm not going to spoil it.
Right.
But there's a lot of big things coming.
Gladly.
Yes. Super happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we've been rocking for years now. And I've seen, you know, the gradual, it wasn't a fast ramp up. It was a gradual, step by step, show by show, relationship by relationship, slowly, getting you to where you are right now. I love it.
Thank you.
A lot of stuff to talk about today.
Okay.
Well, the last time you were here, we had talked about how you drew the horns on the Diddy picture.
Yes, I did.
And since that time, those horns have sort of become more concrete.
Yes,
as the story expands and firms up. Now, the first thing that happened after our interview is that Diddy's Miami and LA homes were raided. When you saw that, were you surprised at all?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't, like him, didn't see it coming.
Didn't see it coming.
Yes, I was surprised.
Okay. So the homes were raided. His sons, I think, were handcuffed and stuff like that. But then, he was able to kind of go on with his life because there was no charges that were actually filed. But, when it comes to the feds and law enforcement in general, the wheels of justice move very slowly. So we don't really, we didn't really know then or even now what exactly was happening. And then you start seeing all of these civil lawsuits hit. This lawsuit hit, that lawsuit hit, Lil Rod, that lawsuit with all the craziness around it. And then Diddy made a statement in response to that. He said, for the last couple of weeks, I've sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation, my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of those awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth.
Sounded good, didn't it?
It sounded good, but not all statements age well, because shortly afterwards, the Cassie video comes out in the hotel room. Well, in the hotel lobby, in the hallway. When you saw that video, what did you think?
Well, of course, I watched it like 10 times to be clear. Is this really him? Is that really her? What, did he just kick her? Did he just, because later, the different angles came out later. The one this way, the one over here by the elevator. And I was, deeply hurt because no woman should be treated that way. Cassie, of all people, darling, adorable, sweet girl, from what we know, you wouldn't do that to a dog and get away with it, And I was extremely shocked, gasped, clutched my pearls, was disappointed beyond in Diddy, and my heart ached for Cassie.
Well, you said that if it was J-Lo instead of Cassie, that he would have been arrested right away.
Through, done, over, done.
So do you think, but Cassie never filed charges. And after the video came out, LAPD made a statement saying, unfortunately, it's past the statute of limitations. There's nothing we could do about it. Because from what I understand, well, actually, in the Cassie lawsuit, she said that Diddy bought that footage for $50,000.
That's what I heard.
Right. But why do you think he would have been arrested if it was J-Lo and not Cassie? It all comes down to who presses charges.
Well, J-Lo would have pressed charges. I didn't know that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
But if there were no statute of limitations, if there were no charges pressed, if you could just press charges out of outrage, society seemingly is more outraged if a black man puts his hands on a non-black woman than they are if they assault a black woman.
Right, and Cassie's mixed.
Yes, well, we claiming her.
You claiming her?
Yeah.
She's in the draft?
She's at the cookout.
Okay, she's at the cookout.
Yeah.
Now, what was interesting about this video, and I actually brought this up, I said, why would Diddy be staying at the Intercontinental? Because that's like a 4-star hotel, right? You would think someone at Diddy's level would be like Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, Mandarin Oriental. And then people started to chime in, people who used to actually work at that Intercontinental, and said that when Diddy would stay there, he would run out the whole floor. Yep, you got it. Because as you watch the video, it doesn't seem like he's very concerned over other guests.
About running down the hallway with a towel wrapped around
That's
him.
what I'm saying. A random guest opening the door and going, pulling out their phone, whatever. He seems like he's casually sitting there. At one point, he's like throwing like vases at her or something like that, making a huge, racket. And he seems perfectly like he's in his own home.
Which he basically was.
Yeah.
Because if the other rooms were occupied, they were occupied by his people.
Yeah.
And this probably ain't the first commotion they heard. So unless they were summons, they weren't coming out the room. So he didn't have a thing to worry about.
Yeah. I think any sort of male support that Diddy had kind of eroded when that video came out. I don't think too many men could watch that and say, yeah, she got what she deserved.
Well, a bunch of men did watch that because before the video, there was real life, And he got guys working for him who knew he was whipping on her.
Yeah.
Before the video came out. So actually a bunch of guys did know. Did see it, didn't say a word, supported it, turned their head for the bag or whatever.
Well, I interviewed one of those guys, Roger Bonds. He was his head of security for like 10 years. He would basically be his head of security outside of New York. This guy named Big Polly, who was his real head of security, but he would only be with him in New York. So out of town, this guy would be with him. And I asked him, I said, why would you continue to be employed as you're watching this? Because he talked about multiple instances.
Yes.
Multiple where he would punch her, he would have to break them apart. She would kick him, in retaliation, and it would just be a mess. She would be talking to some guy and he would lose it and so forth. I said, why didn't you leave? He said, well, I'm a street guy, just got out of prison. This was the only job that I could really get. I would break it up and I felt that I would protect her, that I was protecting her during these times. If I wasn't there, I thought that maybe it could be worse. And, he was honest. He's like, look, I seen Diddy fire people for nothing. And if it wasn't for this job, I'd have to go back to the streets again. And I had kids of my own. So I decided to stick around for a certain amount of time. You didn't leave your job. You continue to work for him. So in a way, people are almost blaming you for enabling the situation in a way.
Right. I find that kind of funny that people say that, right? Because out of so many security people, out of so many assistants, so many people around, why did Cassie mention my name? And the reason she mentioned my name is because I was the only one that would try to help her in those situations, which in reality at that particular time, I was able to diffuse these situations, or at least to get him to like, damn, Bonds just broke it up. Okay, that gives a person a time to now think about what they're doing. So to me, I felt like me getting in between that was stopping the situation of him maybe even accidentally. But the reason I didn't leave, and I would say it was the same reason she didn't leave. She didn't leave because she was scared of her blackballing him. Him blackballing her.
Yeah.
So she would always come back. She would leave for a week or two, come back. I was in the same situation, just coming home from jail not too long ago, running around the city and the state. So manipulation doesn't just go for women. Manipulation goes for all your staff. So being the powerful man that he was, I knew that if I left him, that there was no other artist that was going to hire me because I was with Diddy, and who was big enough to go against him? What was he going to say about, you don't want Bonds around you? So I stayed longer, but what I did was I started watching situations. I started trying to talk to Cassie about situations, and Cassie would just go back and tell him everything that I said. So it became a time when I was booking Cassie to go on trips where he would no longer let me book her. He would no longer let me be around her alone because he knew that I was talking to her about situations. But the reason that I really didn't actually just get up and leave was because who was going to look after them if I did leave? Nobody else was getting in the middle of it.
And some people are going to respect that. Some people, like you, I can tell by your face, that's not going to fly.
I have to choose my words carefully because I don't want any smoke from any of these guys either. I don't know them and all that. But it may be difficult for you to find another job, but you could. And you are able to stomach this behavior over and over again. If you broke it up once and you're like, damn, Diddy, damn, did you see what he did to Cassie? I can't believe it. But if it happens multiple times and you can stomach it, then maybe that's the background you're from or the background you're used to, or maybe you have been guilty of losing your temper yourself. I don't know, but I don't think that the fact that if it's not Diddy, I'm never going to work again. If it's not Diddy, nobody's ever going to hire me in the whole planet Earth. I find that difficult to believe. I know that it's difficult for them, ex-cons, being one myself. No, I didn't go to the pen. I didn't, but I didn't enough time in county. I called myself an ex-con. But I know it's very difficult for the brothers, but it can be done. And if you have support, maybe you don't have to get a job from someone. Maybe you can start your own business, even if it's car washing or something like that. So I don't really agree with the fact that Diddy was his end-all and be-all. You like being there. You probably like the perks, like the travel,
Well, I think it goes both ways. Because if you look at the situation with Cassie, and I carefully read through the whole lawsuit, essentially, whenever things would get really bad and she would leave, like Diddy would get his manager, James Cruz, to reach out to her and say, hey, listen, if you don't respond to Diddy, we're not going to put out your single. We're not going to push your music anymore. And I feel like Diddy dangled this carrot of having a musical career in front of her for 10 years. Because she had a hit in the beginning, right?
A hit.
A hit.
Yeah.
Everyone could have a hit.
Right.
You could have a hit right now.
Right.
I could have a hit right now. That doesn't mean that you will have a career to go with that hit.
Which she did. Not really.
Not really. But he kept dangling it in front of her, and I feel to a certain degree, from the outside looking in, she should have probably said, something, let me just be honest with myself. This music thing, it was nice that I had a song and I had a moment, but a lot of people have moments and they go on. She's not.
And she might could have had that moment with somebody else.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, yeah, there's a certain amount of head scratching that I've done because I know, these guys' homes are up in the hills. You don't have good phone service and, Uber gets lost getting up there and all that because we're always asking, why don't you get out? Why don't you sneak out? Why don't you call your mom, call somebody? But I think the guys, did he probably take her phone or whatever?
No, he wouldn't take her phone.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, she would actually, because I remember Roger said she was actually fairly reckless with her phone because at one point her and Kid Cudi started having an affair and Diddy found her phone and then called and Kid Cudi answered and he put her in the studio with Kid Cudi to try to make a song. So that's when Kid Cudi's car blew up afterwards. There were a lot of other women who got beat up along the way. For example, she had this best friend named Carrie Morgan, this white girl who was a model. And at one point, Diddy threw a wooden hanger at her head and gave her a concussion. And then she expected Cassie to stand up for her and Cassie didn't. And that's why they unfollowed each other and kind of stopped talking. There was another situation where His private chef, this woman named Jordan, I believe, did something that upset him, and he like threw her out like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I think he beat up his assistant at one point, his female assistant. There was just a lot of violence towards women over and over again.
So how did it stay hidden all these years?
People were paid off. People filed lawsuits. He paid those lawsuits. Everyone signed NDAs. And, tapes were seized and bought and so forth, so there wasn't evidence a lot of times. And yeah, you get away with it 10, 20 times. You feel like you can you can buy your way out of anything.
He would have to kill me. Because there's no amount of money. And I got 7 brothers and sisters and 17 nieces and nephews. And all I would have to do is tell one, because we can't keep no secrets in my family. All I'd have to do is tell one person. It would spread through the family like wildfire. And while my brothers and sisters are older than me and way more passive than me, my nieces and nephews are not. And they are here for the smoke. So there's no amount of money you can give me to not tell what you did to me. But I'm a different type of chick. I'm not in the music industry. I'm not trying to get a deal. I'm not dependent on nobody. I work for myself, and I just don't. It make me cry, actually. I just don't understand it. She got beat up and went to the Met Ball, I think, the next day or something like that.
Yeah, she had bruises like on her arm and stuff. Yeah.
We're not going to the Met Ball. You have to kill me because I'm out, or you're going to kill me because I'm the worst. Well, I'm just not the type of chick they would mess with. No way. These predatory guys, they know what type of chick to mess with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You were talking about Miss Pat. You think Diddy get away with that with Miss Pat?
No, Miss Pat has shot people before.
And she would shoot. She would shoot him with his own gun.
I think she shot her baby father, and then when he got out of the hospital, she ran him over with a car.
My type of bitch.
Because I guess
So I'm just saying.
He got with another girl, and yeah, she
There's a certain type of woman that guys who prey on women pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then Diddy put out the apology video. When you saw that, what'd you think?
I wanted to vomit.
All over the screen.
All over the screen. And I caught smoke for simply drawing those little horns. I didn't say a word. I just hear the devil, because I know things. And I drew the horns, and I was assisted right there in the hallway, Sirius XM, what you gonna do? And I left. I got smoke for that. And then all this came out. I didn't say anything. I was just like, do-do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the video was obviously damage control. It was interesting how he brought up God and everything. I personally think that he's going to try to maybe start a church, do the whole Jesus thing and the forgiveness, and we've all messed up, and please forgive me. Oh. Jesus forgave you, and he died for your sins, and that type of thing. You see this a lot.
I don't buy it from them. I wouldn't buy it from him. I am made in the Lord's image. I'm not him. I don't forgive easy. I don't forget. I'm a grudge holding, and I would not say, well, he didn't mean to beat up all those women. I forgive you. I'm going to your church.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like the black community is more forgiving as a whole as opposed to other communities?
We forgive everybody but each other. It seems like, and then, I don't know. It depends on the person who we choose to forgive or not. Like, it depends on the person that you're talking about. You know what I mean? If they're beloved, looks like Will Smith is back on the block.
Yeah. Hit movie.
So A lot of people seen it. They must have forgiven him.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in the Rock family has, however.
I just interviewed Tony Rock. He basically said until his brother
Tony
says
said
it's cool.
on site, period. That's what he said.
At the time he said it, I said, what would you do if Will Smith walked in right now? He said, well, it would depend what his energy is like. If Will were to walk in right now, what would happen?
We would have a conversation. I hope you got another chair here.
Yeah. If he sat down in the chair right next to you.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to think, and I say this because I've been asked this question a million times, his energy would dictate it. If he came to the door like, nigga, what the I heard you say? All right, well, then that's where we at. We'll address it there. But if it's like, hey, man, let's talk like gentlemen, okay, we do that too.
Yeah.
I could go either way.
We're all grown.
I can be grown or I can not be grown.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Well, we were appalled with that.
Yeah.
As we are with
Right.
Diddy. Over time, and we really, the Fresh Prince didn't go off the air when he did it. So still people watching it every day, enjoying him every day. When you go to Miami, you're probably going to play the song, welcome to Miami.
Yeah.
And he is, in our zeitgeist of music and our DNA and history. And you're like, damn, did one bad move wreck all that? And it wasn't just like he slapped him in the parking lot like Nipsey. He slapped him at the Oscars in front of all the important white folk in the world, and it's on television all around the world and will be able to be pulled up for the end of time.
Yes.
That expands the actual act because it's going to go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, but it is a man attacking another man. Although the size difference
Two
is...
black men.
Right. And although the size difference is significant, attacking a woman is never really justifiable in that fashion. Because listen, you never know. Chris Rock might have been like ducked and punched him in the face and knocked him out. You never know.
I wish he had. It'd be a different story.
Tony in our interview said that the only reason that Chris just sat there and took it the way he did was because he understood where he was. And,
No, he did. He reacted. I feel like he did the best thing.
The professional way.
Yeah.
He said if he was on Flatbush or something, he would have retaliated somehow.
Probably.
But you're sitting here, he also, Tony Rock also said something interesting. He said that this was the first year that Will Packer's production company actually did the Oscars.
Yes.
So they were sort of unprepared as to how to handle this situation. Because you would think if someone in the audience just attacked one of the hosts in any sort of function, that person would be escorted out of the building. They wouldn't be able to just sit down there, enjoy the rest of the show, and then go and get their award and sit back down.
And this is a star going on stage with another star.
Yeah.
It wasn't the waiter going on stage. Maybe they would have had security to get the waiter off. But even if they had security don't know if this is a bit or whatever, so they would have never stopped him.
Well, they probably wouldn't have stopped him, but they could have escorted Will out of the building.
But they wouldn't, if they did not know what was going on, which nobody knew what was going on. Security is not always there during the rehearsal.
Yeah, but at the point that Chris Rock went off stage and security approached him and said, was that real? And he said, yes. There was literally lots of time. Look, if it was my production, I would have had Will out of that building. That was me. Nah, you can't do this. No, you can't accept your award. If you win, you'll see it on TV. Sorry. Maybe security was scared they might get slapped themselves. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I wouldn't have let that fly. And I think
he wouldn't be able to sit back and enjoy the rest of the show.
Exactly. Exactly. And what people don't realize is that their older brother, Chris Rock's older brother, is he's gone now, but he was a convicted murderer. They didn't come from a family of pushovers and stuff like that.
There's 15 of them or something like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So yeah, I mean, it was a messed up situation, but back to Diddy, the apology video, which actually is now gone because he deleted his whole Instagram.
Yeah, but it's not gone.
It's not gone.
'Cause
It's just gone. Yeah, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
But it's just gone off his actual page.
That's
And
fine.
actually, your homegirl, Chaka Khan, her daughter chimed in.
I saw.
You saw this.
Yeah,
I sent it to you. I sent it to you.
You got in my mama's face. You disrespected my mother.
Yeah.
You. That's what.
Do you know that story at all?
I just know what she said.
Okay.
No.
Do you know her daughter?
Not like that.
Okay. It'd be interesting, to call up Chaka and see what the backstory is on that. Oh, you never know.
Never know.
May have already done it. I know that you don't want to name any names or go into any specifics, but like you said that you've heard other stuff about Diddy. What kind of stuff have you heard?
I wouldn't be able to tell you without you automatically knowing where it came from.
Aha. Okay. It's one of those. But you've heard other stuff.
Yes.
There's the whole Kim Porter part of the story. Now, Roger Bonds was not there on the boat when it happened, but there was a situation where Puffy essentially broke Kim Porter's nose. They were on a yacht together.
And then flew in a surgeon.
So Roger said that he was there when they went on the boat. He wasn't on the boat, but when they got back, she had bandages on her nose. I actually showed a picture. I said, "Is this the picture?" He goes, "Yep, that was the day."
And a lot of that has been scrubbed as well.
Yep, I found it though.
Yeah, I got it too.
So he said he flew in a plastic surgeon, and he starts going into multiple instances where the two of them would fight, where he would basically beat her up in the car and so forth. But like Kim would fight back. She would scratch his face and, that type of stuff. And she had, she would kind of explain that she'd be like, yeah, try to explain this to the public, after I scratch your face. And she also had 3 of his kids. So I guess technically 4 because he adopted one of them. And basically it was like, yeah, I'll get $30,000 a month if I ever really decide to take you to court and so forth. So she felt like she was sort of...
Had him over a barrel a bit.
She kind of tolerated it to a certain degree. But remember, she left him when Diddy got her best friend pregnant at the same time she was having the twins.
Okay, so Kim left him when he her friend.
Yes.
But she didn't leave him when he broke her nose.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
other multiple
Yes.
assault thing. Okay, got it.
Well, then Kim dies at age 47, which is crazy because we're both older than that age.
Crazy. I'm barely older than that.
I just turned 51, so. I got 4 years.
Congratulations.
You're still in your 30s. Now, when she died, there was a lot of suspicion over that. And you said you feel that you want her death investigated.
Absolutely.
You think he has something to do with it?
Absolutely.
Any proof or anything when it comes to that?
I just find it very suspicious about the coroner who got dismissed from the situation. They brought in a new coroner who deemed it pneumonia when the previous coroner had found certain chemicals in her bloodstream that could cause death. And so he got over here, maybe for money, I don't know. And then they brought a new guy and said, it's pneumonia. So, of course, myself and multiple people and sources would love to have, I'm just, a bystander. But, of course, we would love to have that investigated if there's any investigation that can happen now.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really sure because right now there's a grand jury happening. And, I just did an academic show and I said, I'm 99% sure he's going to get indicted because 99% of grand juries end in indictments. That's just how grand juries work. So it'd be interesting to see what exactly he's charged for because it's like having sex with, male prostitutes and stuff like that. It's a little weird, but it's not exactly illegal. I mean, hiring a prostitute, I guess is technically illegal, but it's a slap on the wrist. No one goes to prison because they hire a prostitute. Sex trafficking, it gets a little gray area. You know, it's like, okay, you fly in a girl and y'all have sex. Is that your girlfriend or is that sex trafficking?
Is she 16? Is she 21?
Yeah, I mean, the underage stuff, I mean, he's getting sued over that, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But what would you put past him at this point?
Not a lot. Not a lot. But I think that's what everyone is basically waiting on. What exactly is he going to be charged with?
Yeah.
You know, because now we're hearing multiple stories, and I've even had people reach out to me about this that are interested in doing interviews, where it's like they've participated in these freak-offs. And basically, Diddy is like a cuckold. He
likes to watch.
He enjoys, I guess he's really into porn, and like he likes to take it one step further of actually watching someone have sex with his woman in front of him while he pleasures himself.
Well, let's think about this. I mean, that could be fun. If that's what you're into. It's no harm, no foul.
Nothing illegal about it.
You know?
Yeah, nothing illegal about that.
It's more about the guy, the guy who's doing do you want somebody watching you, knowing that this is this guy's girl? Like, I wouldn't be able to perform. If I had a dick, it would get limp at the thought of doing that. And then there's the girl who has to sleep with this guy after this guy leave, and she just sucked his dick and all this shit. And you think this is okay? They may want it, but I bet you they hold some resentment in them that you actually did it, and they watch you and they hate you at the same time. I mean, clearly Diddy has some deep-seated problems with women. Maybe starting at home from when he was young.
Maybe.
Which would be your mama.
Yes. Yeah, we don't know that story.
We don't know.
And maybe that's going to be part of his
defense.
Like, you know, maybe I was sexually molested.
No, I heard he put his hands on his mama too. But this is just what I heard in the street. I can't verify this. I don't want these motherfuckers showing up at my house. But I'm just saying these are things that I've heard. But he adores his mother, but he adored Cassie too.
Right. Well, at least publicly.
At least publicly.
Yeah, and that story is interesting because, for example, when you look at the Keefe D story, the go-between between Diddy and, you know, Keefe in Orlando and the Southside Crips was a guy named Eric Von Zip. Eric Von Zip knew his dad. It was like an East Coast gangster. And, you know, I've heard lots of stories about him. Mike Tyson and him were good friends. Him and T.K. Kirkland were really good friends. But then I find out, I think Roger Bond said was that Von Zip was actually dating Diddy's mother around that time. So it's a very weird, convoluted, intermix.
It was all in them streets back in the day, you know, whatever. I ain't gonna hold nothing against Diddy mama for having a couple of guys. But that could be true if that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, look, Roger Bonds said he would see the male escorts go into their rooms.
Boy, these guys sure saw a lot.
They saw a lot. But what he said also, which I think to me kind of brought some clarity to the whole situation, was that flat out, Diddy and eventually Cassie both ended up being. They would go on these 3-4 day. They rent out these hotels, get rid of all the security, have all the and everything else like that come in. They would go hard for like literally 3, sometimes 4 days, and they would all get afterwards to try to, you know, replenish their system. And they would do this like on a regular basis. And then every so often, Diddy would end up in whatever else.
That is a dark, seedy world.
When you've lived in this world, I mean, in terms of the and everything at one point.
Yeah, but it wasn't nothing like that. You know, I might put a little coke on my titties or something like that, whatever, but ain't no cuckold going on, no before they, and stuff, because the dope we was doing did not, it wasn't what it was cracked up to be. You know what I mean?
So this wasn't involved in your
Sometimes, but it wasn't good. Shit.
You being a West Coast person like me, the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle. How'd you feel about that?
Well, you know, sometimes I'm oblivious to what's going on. I didn't know why it started. My daughter is the expert. She knows, you know, how it started, why it started, and all this kind of stuff. But I think that basically Kendrick got sick of Drake, you know, trying to be so hard when you're from Canada. You know, you were on, what is that kid show? You were on a
Degrassi.
Degrassi. You did not grow up in the gang culture. You don't know about it. And you also don't write your own and all this kind of stuff. So I guess when you get fed up, get fed up.
Yeah. And look, you and I remember all the great battles along the way. And, you know, of course, Tupac talking about
No
Biggie's
Vaseline,
wife.
still one of the greats.
No Vaseline.
Still one of the greatest.
Yes. There's definitely a lot of dirt, mudslinging that's happened over the years. But this right here hit a whole new level of gossip.
Yes.
Kendrick accused Drake of having a secret daughter. He accused Drake of being a pedophile. And then Drake accused Kendrick that one of his kids aren't really his. They're really his managers. You know, Kendrick called Drake a colonizer and a snitch. Drake called Kendrick a woman beater and said that his girl's bigger than him, so it's self-defense. And it just kind of got uglier and uglier and uglier and uglier. And you know something? This part kind of made me scratch my head again a little bit here. When Kendrick called Drake a 69 king, is that supposed to be a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it bad to pleasure your woman? Like, while getting some head yourself? Like, is this a bad thing? I mean, does Kendrick never go down on his girl? Like, is this what I'm hearing? Like,
Fuck till I know. I don't know. I don't, like I said, me and my daughter in here, interview her because she'll break it all.
She'll break it all down.
I don't really know. I don't know, but I know that I am excited whenever I find a 69 king. You heard?
Kendrick had that concert, the pop-out show.
Yes.
Where he brought everyone out.
Yeah.
You know, all the LA gangs reunited on stage.
Praise God.
Every
Yeah.
LA rapper performed, everything else like that. I wish I could have gone because I was in New York at the time.
I wouldn't have gone within 10 feet of that place.
Why?
It's too much.
Too much.
It's just too much. I saw it. I was actually on a plane. My daughter and I were on a plane, I think, to D.C. when the concert happened. But we logged in on the plane, and we were able to watch it. You know, my daughter was strapped in her seatbelt because she wanted to dance all around first class. But yeah, we watched it from 30,000 feet. But I don't go to big events like that anymore, just because the factor that something may twist at any moment. It's just too much for me. But I enjoyed it. I really did. And it was really exciting, and it was really great.
Oh, yeah. I remember this was like, I think 1998, Oakland Coliseum, the Cash Money Rough Rider tour. All hell broke loose in the Oakland Coliseum. Someone decided...
Reminiscent of the Source Awards.
It was worse than that, actually. It was actually worse than that because at the time, Oakland just didn't have any hip-hop shows. They just didn't. They would have occasional ones here and there, but like a big show like that with big out-of-town acts, they would usually go to like San Francisco. You know what I'm talking about? Oakland, it wasn't really happening there. San Francisco was where it would happen. So suddenly, you had this huge hip-hop show in the Oakland Coliseum. all the neighborhood gangs were all in one big room. And I believe Ronald Isley decided to promote this show. And he wasn't a very experienced promoter. So he had the great idea to put folding metal chairs all over the floor.
Never mind. Got it.
And as the violence started to break out, we were watching people pick up these metal chairs and hit each other with it.
But I tried to tell them people that the brother on the dock did not invent that. We've been hitting people with metal chairs for years.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a recent thing.
No.
Literally, like metal chairs just started getting everyone picked up a metal chair.
Sure, for sure.
And it all hell broke loose.
Yes.
And then I think a gunshot went off and all the cops were there, started pulling out their guns. We're all hitting the ground. One of the guys that was with us, my friend's brother, was in a wheelchair. So we were freaking out over him. And it was just absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. So yeah, that could have happened at the Kendrick.
And that's why I was 30,000 feet in the air.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it could have. I did see a Islamic presence there. I think he had a nation fruit. They were there. Thank God, because nobody with him. And that was good because he was, other pictures I saw after the concert they're doing, he was down in the crowd.
Yeah.
Which was a very bold move as well. But I think that what he did, though, was pretty phenomenal.
Oh, it was a LA monumental moment. Historic moment.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. I wish I was there. I wish I would have shown up with security.
Ah, right.
Not solo. Right after our last interview, Katt Williams did Club Shay Shay. And all hell broke loose. Now, that's your friend. You toured with him. You guys have a long relationship. When you saw that interview, what did you think?
Well, I was on the floor. Because there's one thing that Katt don't do. He don't lie. And after that, a lot of things seem to just, go. I don't know. It set off a chain reaction of a lot of things. I thought it was very entertaining. And once again, a historic moment by Katt Williams.
Did you get mentioned at all?
No.
No. Well, because he didn't mention everyone in a negative way. There's people that he shouted out.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You mentioned me?
No. What I'm saying is
he didn't mention
mentioned
me.
Certain people in positive light as well. I'm not saying that he dissed everyone.
Yeah. But you asked.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was just
me.
wondering if he mentioned you or not. I was trying to think because it was a long interview. It definitely shook things up. And I'm sure, were you on tour with him after that happened?
Nope.
Okay, before.
Way
before, right. Because I'm sure his shows were crazy after that.
Well, they were already massively popular.
Yeah.
The rest of the show sold out in one day.
There we go. That's what I figured. I thought it was a brilliant move. I mean, if you think about it, he probably gained the most out of everyone with that.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
Shannon
it wasn't
Sharpe,
calculated.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a calculating guy. He thinks that, he thinks about things. He's a thinker. But, I mean, I don't know that he went on there and said, I'm about to. He knew that his presence and what he had to say was going to genre a reaction. I'm sure he knew that. I don't think he went on there with a calculated move to blow the whole up. But maybe he had. I can't speak for him in his mind. I can only assume. But everything he does and everything he says garners a big reaction.
Well, yeah, I mean, he actually shouted out Gary Owen. And I had the idea that, I would bring Gary Owen on and have him diss all the white comedians. Just go to a tirade, have him diss like Jerry Seinfeld and, all the, Bill Burr, just trash them all. Unfortunately,
I mean, you can ask him what you want. I don't know what he would, whether he would diss everybody.
No, I'm just saying, it would we just need a white version of Katt Williams to do something like that.
There ain't one.
There ain't one, unfortunately. Well, what's interesting, actually, is I brought Gary Owen on, and he told a story about a very famous black Hollywood executive who essentially offered him millions of dollars to sleep with him.
Yeah.
You know about this?
Mm-hmm.
He told me who it was afterwards. Well, you actually had a big entertainment executive, male executive, try to hit on you at one point.
Yeah.
He basically was like, offered you a huge career.
He don't even know huge career. It
Well,
was
he offered to make you millions
said he could make me millions. Yeah.
for a small fee.
He didn't out. Here's the thing. I hate it when people act like I won't out this guy and I was complicit and I'm part of the problem. I always tell people, you are allowed to hit on people.
Yeah.
It's nothing
Gay or
against
straight,
anybody that's married.
trans,
You
whatever.
had to hit on your wife.
Yes.
Right? So the guy hit on me. There was no promises, like, other than that, obviously. But there wasn't no, like, you're not going to get this job, because I still got the job I was in the room for. So there wasn't like the guy took away work from me. There wasn't no Terry Crews. I wasn't touched. There was no pro. It was just like, in the room when somebody's hitting on you.
You tell me later.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Let's just say it's not going to be a big shock when you hear the name.
I'm sure.
But basically what he said was he was coming in.
I wish somebody would offer me millions of dollars to suck their dick or have sex. Hey, if there's any executives out there, it ain't too late. This mouth still works.
What that mouth do?
You'd be shocked.
You'd be surprised, huh? I'm sure. But yeah, basically what he said was, he came in and the guy started hitting on him and was like, oh, how much do you make a year? And at the time, he's like, oh, maybe about $50,000. Oh, I'll make you millions. In fact, hold on, this role you're going for? Yeah, have my assistant call the other guy and say that he's not going to get the role. We're going to give it to Gary instead. Yeah, I'll have millions for you. No problem. Just for,
It makes you look at the people who do have millions now.
Well, what he said, though, was, he politely turned him down. He said there's nothing illegal about hitting on somebody.
Right.
And it's not like he actually dangled the role in front of him and said, oh, I got to blow your back out if you want this role. He gave him the role, even though he turned him down. But it's very interesting that, well, number one, this guy that he's still in the closet is the interesting part. Because I don't understand why you would do this type of stuff in these closed door situations but hide your sexuality at the same time. Like, why not just come out and just be gay so you could just go out and date guys?
He might be married.
He's not married.
He got kids.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he don't want the kids to know, as if the kids don't know. Kids know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, why anybody is hiding these days is a wonderment to me, unless you have something to hide, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's
And once again, even with the men, the people who are the predators know who to f with. They know who to, maybe they could say it and this person's not going to be so retaliatory or,
Well, I mean, I don't think there's a reason to be retaliatory unless you're physically, being sexually aggressive towards someone. If it's like, hey, I want to have sex with you. You say no. Okay.
Yeah, but
Why be mad about that?
But then I'm telling all my friends.
Yes. Well, and that's the side effect of, being forward with somebody, is that story might get out. But
Well, if it's me, it's getting out because I'm a tattletale.
Yeah, well, like I said, I know who it is. I know
anybody
who it is.
who's ever assaulted me, I told.
Yeah.
Just nobody never did nothing.
So, by the way, why weren't you in Borat 2?
Ew, did you see it?
No.
So glad I wasn't.
You didn't like it?
No, I like the original one, the one that we did. The other one was a little, Sasha's crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm glad I'm in the original, no shade, a little shade, whatever. But I'm just glad I'm in the original one, and that's it. It's sort of like you can't, re-ring the bell. Like you did it once.
Yeah.
And the second time it just didn't have as much punch. To me.
Yeah, but I mean, there's lots of movies that part twos are sometimes even better than the original.
That wasn't.
Well,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
Fair enough. Did you see Chrisean Rock getting arrested at the Blueface court hearing?
You know, a little bit as I was scrolling.
Yeah, she's in jail right now.
Still? Who got the
Still.
baby?
Well, that's the saddest part about the story. So she had a warrant out in Oklahoma.
For?
Oh man, I think she had stolen Blueface's car and got arrested, drove it from LA to Oklahoma and got arrested. I think there was drugs in the car and some other. It's a big train wreck, right? So then, Blueface is in jail because he goes to Vegas when he shouldn't have. And I guess he had a warrant out. So she goes to his court hearing, and she had been going to his court hearings. I remember me and Wack talked about this, and he was telling her, like, don't go to these court hearings, you have a warrant. He's like, oh, this is Oklahoma. By the time they figure out I'm out there, I'll be gone. They're waiting for her at that court hearing. She showed up, they arrested her.
She showed up with the baby, though, right?
She showed up with the baby.
Yeah.
They arrested her. So then you see a video of Blueface's parents in outside in the hallway in the courtroom, and neither one of them wants the baby. They're arguing with each other about who gets the baby, and both of them are saying we don't want the baby. So now the baby's with Chrisean's friend, female friend. And also keep in mind, the baby appears to have, mental defects and stuff like
Alcohol
that.
syndrome.
Yeah, that. Because I remember my interview with Academics, he was on FaceTime with her when she was like 8 months pregnant, smoking a blunt. And God knows what else during that time.
Now, that's not against the law?
Uh,
Deliberately be smoking on camera when pregnant, that's not against
well, it
the
wasn't
law?
on camera, it was on FaceTime.
That's camera.
Yeah, but he wasn't recording it, he never reported her, so.
Oh, he didn't record it?
No, it was just a conversation. I guess the guy at the owner of the Zeus Network wanted them to do some work together, so he put them on FaceTime together. And
Of course he did.
yeah. So now you have this potentially disabled baby with both parents in jail. The grandparents don't want anything to do with it. So now the friend is having to take care of the baby. I've had some toxic relationships in my day, but this right here, this is like...
But they were toxic way before there was a baby.
They were,
They're
but this
clearly
is...
they're what you call codependent on each other. They're addicted to each other.
Yeah, it's... If you think about the worst possible situation, this is the worst possible situation.
Well, it got to go beyond them. It got to go back to, something about your childhood, how you was raised, what you tolerate, what you think is love, what's not, what you're looking for in love. It's deeper than just two people met. They both clearly had something in common, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean... From her point of view, it seems like, based on what she always says, is that Blueface got her out the hood.
Okay, and then didn't she get his face tatted
Yes,
on her face?
Yeah.
So, okay, let me get this straight. So he got you out the hood.
Yes.
But you still have hood behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go and get somebody's face tattooed with needles on your face.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. And I think with him, I'm sure he likes her, but the two of them essentially make a lot of money.
Yes, because the internet and
Yes.
television loves the...
Yes.
They don't care that it's a real person's life. And
Yeah.
people love the bag.
Yeah.
So...
And it seems like he's almost put his music career on hold.
Music career?
No, he had a real music career.
Oh, really?
Yes. He has big songs. He had big songs. Yeah, like Moonwalk in Calabasas.
What?
Tatiana. No, listen, these are songs with like hundreds of millions of streams.
Yes, from people who are 35 and under.
Yes.
I'm grown. I don't know
Yes.
the fuck Blueface.
No, he
is.
was going on tour. He had songs that were reacting. If he had focused on his music, he could have continued to do that. But it's a lot harder to keep coming up with hit songs than just act like a maniac on camera and, have everyone tune in and get big checks from Fashion Nova and all types of other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I hope it works out. I hope they both get out of jail.
Go to
clean their lives
therapy.
up, go to
Get out of
therapy.
jail, go to therapy.
Get off drugs.
Stay off drugs.
Yes.
Help their baby and try to co-parent and, yes, and be noble people in society. And maybe you go back to doing music and she'll go back doing whatever it was what she do.
She's a social media influencer, just,
Oh.
she just acts out.
But before that, what'd she do?
I don't think she was doing anything, actually.
Well,
I think she was
let's
fairly
hope
young.
She doesn't go back to doing what she used to do, which was nothing. And she can maybe write a book.
Because she's
shit.
only 24. So basically, this is like post-high school. This has been her life. I think she was on whatever show. I don't know, whatever show.
You don't even know the name of it. Who
I
gives
know,
a
because I don't
fuck?
watch these shows.
Me neither. Ask me to about this. I don't know.
Did you hear about Sean Kingston and his mom getting arrested?
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah, in May, his Miami mansion was raided by SWAT.
A lot of raids going on.
A lot of raids. Him and his mother were arrested. I guess it was a bunch of fraud and theft. So they're saying that he stole $500,000 in jewelry, and there was lots of jewelers that basically said that he took jewelry and never paid him back. There was $200,000 stolen from Bank of America, $160,000 from an Escalade dealer, $100,000 from First Republic Bank.
How you do that?
$86,000 from a custom bed
I'm glad
maker.
I don't scam no more, because I'd be like, how you do all this?
Well, I think it's like this. It's like, okay, so I'm a public figure. I have a jeweler that I go to.
Me too.
There were times that he's left very expensive watches with me and I haven't paid for them yet.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah. But, okay, I don't even know what nationality my jeweler is, but if he gave me this Rollie, which I bought, but it's worth a lot of money, if he let me take that, which he would,
yeah,
maybe, if I put a little down or something like that, he would let me take it. But if I don't fucking contact him in a timely fashion, or when I said it would keep my word, I'm pretty sure he gonna send somebody to come see me. Cause
right.
they not from here. He not like us.
They not like us.
Mm-mm.
Well, yeah, and I think that being a celebrity and you go to these various people, look, I've got a lot of free stuff. Like
sure, and they can get it, but you got a conscience, you got a mind, you know if you ain't paid for
I don't
this
owe
shit.
anyone anything. Like, listen, there's no one out there that can say that I owe them money. Period. I just don't do that. I don't need that type of stress in my life. If I can afford it, I buy it. If I can't, I won't. But think about it. You go to all these up and coming jewelers. Oh, yo, give me this piece.
Yeah, and they want
I'll
you
pay
to
back.
wear
I'll do
it.
some promo for you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna get all my. I'll get Justin Bieber to buy his next chain from
Yeah,
you because
yeah.
we got that song together. And you keep doing this with people over and over again. And they, okay, cool, we want it back now. And you don't return their phone calls. You change your phone. You start living somewhere else.
But you're gonna be downtown at the BET Awards. We know where you know what I mean?
And his mom, from what I understand, his mom has a criminal history as well. Like she was in jail, like I think when he was first like blowing up.
She's
so
about that life.
She's about that life. So you got two people, and look, Sean Kingston is not,
that shit done
the
dried
beautiful
up.
girl Sean Kingston when he came out and he had huge songs
This shit
and him
done
and
dried
Jen-
up.
Yeah, he hasn't had a hit song in I don't know how long.
Right. So
And you get used to a lifestyle.
yes.
When you live in a mansion, you don't want to live in that one bedroom anymore. You still want to stay in that mansion.
Right.
You may not be able to afford that mansion.
Right.
Those bookings, you might have been getting 30,
the
40,000
shit
a show.
dried up. The shit dried
Yeah.
up.
Now you're doing, county fairs for 5,000. Right? Nothing wrong with county fairs.
Lord have mercy.
But you're doing county fairs for 5,000. You take all your bills, you don't want to drive that Honda Civic. You like the Ferraris.
Yeah, so then it becomes by any means necessary, I got to keep this shit popping. And okay, maybe I just do this one little thing over here. That worked.
Yeah. I'll do it again.
Little thing over here. Yeah.
Yeah, Kingston is a 61-year-old mother, Janice Turner, been charged with conducting an organized scheme to defraud, grand theft, identity theft, and related crimes.
Identity theft.
Identity theft. They're pretending to be someone else.
Hardcore.
Yeah. Of course, he posted, my lawyer's taking care of this, whatever else. But I've been hearing stories about it. I mean, Johnny Dang was like, hey, can I get my chain back too? Like, people coming out of the woodwork. I mean, I think this is just a statement, though, about living within your means. And
Yes.
a lot of times when these young guys, they get it so quick,
Yeah.
they don't really understand that it's not going to be there forever.
And if you don't have a mentor, a parent or something, or somebody to sit you down, tell you pump your brakes for a minute and think about tomorrow, you're only living for today. You can only think about today.
Yeah.
And you don't give a about investments or even life insurances or anything like that.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, how many of us have rich parents? I didn't have rich parents. So when I started getting money, I just felt like, well, I've already surpassed them, so they can't tell me anything. So I wasn't even listening to my parents.
No, I had my parents, had money.
Yeah? Yeah, I didn't. So a lot of times...
I didn't either. They did.
Huh. Okay.
Not Diddy money, but I'm saying they did well. Like, we lived in houses that nobody had never lived in before type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had, swimming lessons, ballet lessons,
Nice.
all that.
Yeah, I mean, look, your mom is in and out of jail. You hit it big very early in life. John Kingston was probably like 19 or 20, when he had his first hit.
Mm-hmm.
And you just think that the hits are just going to keep coming forever. You got one, and I could have 100 more, or I could tour forever. But listen, it happened to me. I first started making money. I bought a Benz, bought a house, and, within a couple of years, I lost it all. And I was sleeping on couches. And a lot of times, that right there is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nothing
absolutely.
will teach you how to handle money than losing all your money.
That's right.
So I said, when I get some money next time, and it took a good 10 years to get it,
Yeah.
I said, this time I'm going to be very conservative. I'm going to invest. I'm not going to spend all my money. I'm not going to buy the biggest house I can get. It was a long time. I mean, I bought my first house, real house, like 2 years ago. And by that time, I mean...
That was about my first one last year.
Yeah, VladTV had been running for like 14 years. So I could have bought whatever, but I was renting because I'm like, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Let me get to the point where I can just buy it outright. Where I don't need a mortgage. And, I was able to do that eventually. But, I mean, you see what happens early on. You get a $100,000 check, $200,000 check. Oh, I'm going to buy a $5 million house. Put down the minimum down payment. Don't think about property taxes. Don't think about, all the repairs.
That's why you got to have your people in place. I know you won't think about that. But if you have your people in place, once you do start climbing and say, yeah, I think I need, somebody, I'm getting these large amounts of money. I can't just keep putting $150,000 in the bank every week, not knowing what to do. And let me get some people. If you have some people that you trust and you get your people in place, then they're the ones who can talk to you. Nobody's born that comes out the womb knowing about property taxes, knowing about state tax, knowing about this, that, they. You don't know what you don't know. Look at TLC.
Yeah, they were broke for a while.
Yeah, and how is that possible? Because nobody's like, you really better read this contract.
Yeah.
And by the way, you need to revise this and revise that in the contract. This is for them. This is not for you. You like, we own. We popping.
Yeah.
So if you don't have people in place, and if there's anything that the audience should get that's watching this now, is that if you are up and coming, if you are making money, get your together. It is not all just one party. It is not going to maybe last forever.
I interviewed Michael Vick a while back, and we talked about how him trying to support all his friends and give them money ended up with him going to prison or the whole dogfighting situation. And he basically didn't regret any of it. And me and him got into a bit of an argument on camera where he was like, hey, if you found 10 million in this back room, you wouldn't split it with your friends? And I'm like, no. And you didn't find 10 million in the back room. You earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I bought my mama house, bought my aunts and all my cousins that I was close to cars, and I was able to give them money and just get everybody life started and give them a subtle opportunity to, move forward in life and not be, financially stressed, to be financially free.
Well, yeah, you moved 6 of your friends from back home to Atlanta?
I didn't move them. We all left together.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you were supporting them financially.
We supported one another. I mean, got millions of dollars. I don't know what you call it. I don't know if we call it me supporting them. I never felt like I supported anybody. I gave. I gave. I was a real, genuine person with my money, and I had enough of it. And we all struggled together. We fought together. We laughed together. We cried together. We lost friends together. We all, was a tight-knit group. And so we just tried to, be just like any other group of friends, close-knit, stick together.
I mean, is this sort of a Newport News thing? Because Allen Iverson kind of had the same thing going on. He would always have a big crew from back home with him.
Man. You got a crew.
But I don't financially support him though.
Back you 20 years old, it might have been different. You had a couple $1 million. You might look at it different. You know what I'm saying? You and your boys, y'all had a lick. It's like walking in that back room and you broke and you find $20 million and you found it. They was outside. You ain't gonna give them nothing. You're not gonna give him a dime. He got a kids and he trying to get an apartment. You're not gonna help him when you got a pocket full of money.
It's a tough situation.
No, it's not a tough situation. I don't think it's a tough situation.
I've dealt with it. I've dealt with friends, and it's always.
I don't think it's tough.
It's always they're your best friends until the one time you tell them no.
That's the truth.
And then it turns very, very ugly very quick.
Cool. I didn't have to tell them no on a lot of occasions, and they didn't have to tell me no. Okay. And I knew at the end of the day, with anything, a majority of them had my back in any situation. So it's a respect level, man. Like, I don't value a dollar, I value, loyalty, I value respect, character.
Your friends, they were morally supportive, but they weren't the reason why you got into the NFL. They were the reason why you became.
They didn't take them hits.
Yeah, they didn't take those hits. They weren't getting sacked, on that field.
Yeah.
You did all that, Meanwhile, these fools are running a dogfighting ring in one of your properties.
Crib.
At your
Why?
property.
And you out of town, you don't know.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, see, that's why Vlad's not like us. He wouldn't help his friends out, if he had a bunch of money. And it's like, I've been there. I've helped my friends out. And then the one time you tell them no, then they become your enemy. Like, I've seen this happen over and over again. People like Iverson have these large entourages. And, what was Andre Rison would go out with 20 people, fly everyone first class, put everyone in hotels, buy everyone meals, drinks. Now he's broke.
Yeah, I did that recently, and that bill is. And there's people who have helped me.
Yeah.
Who have helped me immensely. But that being said, are you beholden to them forever? If you do good things when you can, once you get on, do you have to do that forever? Like, how long are you beholden to somebody who helped you in the lean days? Like, how long? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, I remember I was at Gerard Carmichael. I think he was on that show with LeBron on HBO where he was like, oh, yeah, some of my aunties would kind of come at me and be like, oh, baby, remember, you said you would get me a condo if you ever made it big. I always believed in you. And he's like, you really want me to get you a condo because you believed in me? Like, I'm not doing that. But listen, my whole thing, and it's funny how like this Michael Vick video kind of became big on TikTok, and I was like, yeah, see how foul Vlad is. He would make all this money and not hook up his friends. And I'm like, number one, these are a bunch of people talking who don't have money, first of all. So y'all can't really relate. You know, at the very least, me and Michael Vick are two people that are successful having this conversation. So these are people that actually know what they're talking about.
And you don't know what's going to happen until it happened to you. So.
Exactly. But to sit there and treat your friends like they're your children, which essentially is what everyone is expecting. If my friend makes it, then we made it. No, he made it. Now, if you're like a LeBron, you'll take your friends and you'll put them in very specific positions and they have to perform.
Yeah, and
earn
some money.
You know damn well if LeBron's friends end up being deadbeats and lazy and messing up a whole bunch of deals, he would go with whoever the top sports management company is and just go with them, just like every athlete goes to. It just so happens that the friends that he picked ended up being professional and well at their, doing well at their jobs. That's why they're still there. But that rarely happens. Do you employ any of your friends?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Your day one friends?
Mm-mm.
See what I mean?
No, but it's just not available. Like, I have employees that are my friends. My manager is my day one.
Okay.
He is, yeah, for sure. So.
But it's a he or she?
It's a he.
Okay.
All I do is pay men. All my life, that's all I do is pay men.
Your sugar mom.
Yeah. I ain't mad. But, yeah, if they were available, if they were qualified, yeah, I would hire a couple more of my day ones. My manager, though, who handles my life, my entire life, will get part of what I make for the rest of my life voluntarily because he works hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have someone that works hard for you.
Yeah.
But like in the Michael Vick situation, these were just his hangout buddies.
And the thing is, even if he didn't work for me, if he needed something, I got him. Now, if he needed something again, I probably still got him. If he needed something again, I'm gonna side eye him, and I might still got him. And if he needed something again, I'm probably gonna tap out.
You gotta tap out eventually. When some of my friends who aren't in good shape right now for whatever reason, they approach me and they be like, "Yo, can I get 1,000?" I'll just send them 1,000, and I'll never.
It's easier to do that, and don't say borrow because you ain't gonna pay me back, and I don't want to have ask.
I don't even ask for it. Now, occasionally they'll bring the money back. I'm like, okay, great. What that does, if you bring the money back, then you can ask for it again.
Again, yeah.
If you don't bring it back, I'll say, hey, I already gave you that 1,000.
I typically don't lend. I just give it.
Well, because you start an aggravating process.
Yeah, so why?
No,
if
I give you 1,000,
if you didn't have it, you couldn't do it.
I'm not going to ask for it back. I know you need it more than I do right now. That's cool, but you can't keep coming back and asking over and over again.
That's correct.
Pastor Lamar Whitehead, a.k.a. the Bling Bishop, was sentenced to 9 years. 9 years. Because remember, originally you found out about him because he got robbed on camera. And he always had all the designer clothes on. He was always wearing, Gucci and Louis. He had the Rolls Royce. Sentenced to 9 years for extortion and fraud. He conned a church member out of $90,000. He also falsified bank documents for a $250,000 loan.
It sounds like besides the extortion, it sounds like a pimp, right? Got the rolls, got the...
Yeah. Yeah, he actually used the church money for designer clothes.
I gotta admit, as an old black Baptist girl, I don't want to see a raggedy pastor. I do want my pastor to be clean. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, listen, God is the ultimate hustle. When you're selling God and you tell everyone in your congregation to give back 10%, and you got a few rich people scattered in there, have you ever given 10%?
I've given more than that.
Really?
Yeah. But not consistently.
How much do you think you've given to the church if you add it all up?
Well, there was a church I was going to in my neighborhood when I was in Crenshaw District in another block. And this church I would walk to because I didn't have a car. And I could open the door and I could hear the music. I felt like God was talking to me, bringing me to the church. So I would go to that church, and during the time I was at that church, I did start making some money. And they did start asking me specifically for more money, and I gave it. And then they was doing what we was just talking about. They come back again, and I gave again, And then eventually the church fell apart. The pastor got divorced, married a young broad. That went crazy, and he dead now.
The end.
The end.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not religious myself, but I understand that a lot of good comes from organized religion. I remember I interviewed Zaytoven. He's the producer that was behind Gucci Mane and Future and a lot of other people. He gives 10% back of everything he makes. But he also explained that when he was coming up, the church helped him out a lot.
Yes, and that's the way that it used to be.
Yes.
If you're about to be evicted, the church will put together
Yes.
a fund, make you keep your place, or if you need furniture, food, that's what. And a lot of churches probably still do that, granted.
Yeah, like he was like the organ player at his church, so they would pay him for that, and they helped him out when he was struggling, and helped him, I guess, get equipment, stuff like that. So when he finally made it, and he's a very religious guy, he said, yo, I need to give back.
That's
and
a
to this
good
day,
thing.
he still does it, but
That's good.
I feel like it needs to be a two-way street.
Explain.
Meaning that I feel it's okay to give back if they held you down for a significant amount of time as well.
Right.
If you're just going there, watching the sermon every week, and they're not doing anything for you, when you make it, do you really owe them all that money
Well,
back?
you mean if they're not doing anything for you physically. They may be doing something for you spiritually.
That's true.
That you feel gratitude for.
That's true.
And therefore you break them off.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, because like I grew up Jewish, and I remember all the synagogues that I attended, like when I got my bar mitzvah and stuff, they charge. Like it costs money to be part of a synagogue or a temple in the Jewish community.
And did you ever feel like spiritually full because of your experience in the synagogue?
No, because I'm not really religious. I don't really believe in
there
God
you go.
like that and so forth. So for me, it was
But
just
you was
like,
young then.
I was young.
You was young Vlad.
I was young Vlad. And like we came from Russia. My grandparents really wanted to see me have a bar mitzvah because it was illegal where we lived. I felt it was important to have them see it. I don't think my grandfather was alive to see it. My grandmother saw it. So, but it was like, I remember my family had to approach the church, the synagogue, and explain to them that we didn't really have a lot of money like a lot of these other rich Jewish families that lived in that area in San Mateo. So they kind of gave us a little bit of a discount, but they still charged. Whereas I think like black churches really don't charge, do they?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that because I don't have things at the church. I think maybe for funerals they might charge a little bit too. Yeah, I think maybe pastors might have to get paid, if you want the choir there.
I mean, there is an overhead. I understand why money needs to play a role in this, but I don't personally see anything wrong with charging for church, but it seems like a lot of black churches, and I think traditional churches as well, they don't exactly charge outright.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah. Everyone feels bad for Cassie. But generally in hip hop, people almost ridiculed Megan Thee Stallion after the whole Tory shooting situation. Even after he was convicted.
Right.
And is sitting in jail because of the shooting.
Yeah. I
never
Cassie's figured out why that was.
And Megan is viewed. Like, if I ever see, like in the hip hop spaces, something about Megan, It's like free Tory, free Tory, free Tory. Oh, she's a liar, free Tory.
It blows my mind.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe because Cassie seemed like a little delicate flower, and Megan seemed like a goon because she's so tall and Texas.
A goon.
You know. But no, I've met Megan, and she's delicious. You know, I mean, she is indeed a stallion. She do seem like she could probably take care of herself. But at the end of the day, you're still a woman, and that's a gun. I don't know why people reacted that way.
Yeah.
And Megan, I mean, you know, and it went to court.
Yeah.
So it's not about what you or I think, it's about the facts. And I mean, I didn't know they had love in the streets for Tory Lanez like that, you know.
Yeah, I don't get it because I've always been the one outspoken that basically has been saying Tory's going to jail for this. To the point where he even DM'd me one point to try to like talk or whatever. And it's like, well, look what happened. I was right. And, you know, yeah, he's trying to appeal it or whatever else, but he's still in jail. I don't think he's going to get out. I think he'd have to do his whole sentence and then get deported back to Canada.
Oh,
But-
you think they're going to deport him?
No, he's going to get deported.
Oh.
He's not a U.S. citizen. You can't come into a foreign country, shoot somebody, and expect to stay afterwards.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. Go to
Yeah.
Canada and shoot somebody. Think you get to stay in Canada? No, send your ass back to America. Same thing with like, you know, all these illegals that come over here and do crimes. They get sent back to their country, you know, after their prison time. But like, it just it bothered me that even before we saw the Cassie tape, everyone's like, poor Cassie, poor Cassie, poor Cassie, but Megan's a liar, Megan's a liar, Megan's a liar.
I know. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I didn't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean,
When I seen her limping out the car,
you see the blood.
I already had empathy for her then. Like, what the?
Yeah, I mean, look, from what I understand, the story was that Tory was sleeping with Kelsey, her best friend. And then in the car, it was somehow found out that he was actually sleeping with Megan as well. And a fight broke out. Tory is 5'3".
Yeah.
I remember there was like a song where he was like, yo, they say I'm 5'3", I'm really 5'7". I know people that know Tory, they're like, he is not 5'7". He is the size. I know girls that know him that's like, no, we're eye to eye.
Well, I think Megan is 6 feet barefooted.
Yeah, probably. And like, I remember when there was the Tory mugshot, 5'3". It was right there. You're not going to hide that. So it's like, I think there was a certain degree of, this girl's going to beat me up, like in real life. You know what I mean? Like in real life. Because Megan's also kind of stocky,
Well,
right?
this is why I say about, she's just a thick Texas girl. She's
Right.
just all real. God bless you, Megan. That is the thing. That's what I'm saying about Cassie, little Cassie, and Megan. It's like this.
Yeah.
And Megan do look like she can take care of herself, you know? And she looked like if she wanted to put Tory in a chokehold, she could do it. It's my opinion.
I can totally see it.
You know?
He passes out.
So maybe that's why they were like that. I don't know. Protect black women at all costs. We always catching that's we never get really defended. That's why I said the thing about J-Lo and Cassie. That's why I said that. And if it had been Gwyneth Paltrow and not J-Lo, it'd have been done he'd have been jailed even quicker because the whiter, you know.
Do you feel though, and this to me is an interesting point. Look at Chris Brown and Rihanna. The Rihanna photo, I feel, was as impactful as the Cassie video.
At that time, it was.
At that
for
time.
Sure.
Especially because Rihanna was a much bigger celebrity than Cassie ever was,
Yes.
right?
Still.
Still, even more so now.
Right.
But back then, she had multiple hit songs.
Sure, yeah.
She was like an A-list celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie was essentially known as Diddy's girlfriend who had a hit 10 years ago, right? Not a shot at Cassie. That's just
And
reality.
pretty.
And she was pretty. I got it. But when that photo came out and you saw, you know, Rihanna's eyes closed and bruised and her lips are messed up. That was like, oh my God.
Yes,
like, you
it
take
was.
that picture out of that situation, and I think that Chris Brown would have essentially been unaffected at that point. But now, this is what, 15 years later? Chris is selling out arenas. Hit records. Yeah, occasionally people will bring that up.
Yeah, but the industry is still disrespecting him, though. You know, he's still, like they scrubbed, remember when they scrubbed his Michael Jackson tribute performance?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every so often, you know, like for example, there was the NBA celebrity basketball game that he was like uninvited to, right? And he made a big deal out of it. There's little things that happen overall, but he's still a multimillionaire. He still has tons of female fans. Really, most of his fans are female. How many male fans does Chris Brown have?
I want to know.
You know, maybe gay male fans, but like, I've never hung out with a guy that's put on some Chris Brown. Like, that's never
Side-eye
happened.
that motherfucker.
Yeah, like, you know, he'd be doing those meet and greets where the girls are all like
jumping on him and getting
Jumping on
unengaged.
him, yeah, and
and getting
everything.
unengaged. Did you see that one?
Yeah. Yep, I saw that. The question is, do you think that if you fast forward 10 years, Diddy will be in the same boat as a Chris Brown?
Yes. No, I don't think, you mean, will he be able to come back and perform and be beloved again?
Yes.
I don't think so.
So what's the difference?
I think we're just sick of Diddy. I think we're just sick of the whole over the topness. I'm the great. Call me love. I'm running a marathon. I'm doing Broadway. I'm the king of the world. I think we're just sick of the. Well, I know I am.
And, you know, Diddy's not exactly a...
Humble.
Well, no. He's not like
Because he ain't
singing,
that either.
He's not the singing star or rapping star himself. He's really more of a producer
background guy.
Whereas Chris Brown is the star.
Yes,
so has that
and he
star
works
quality.
his ass off.
But I just feel like, and we've seen it time and time again, we've all seen R. Kelly pee on that underage girl, and then his biggest hits came right afterwards, right?
I don't know, because I start to pass out when you start talking about R. Kelly.
Right. The only way I feel like no matter what you do, no matter how crazy it is, yes, there'll be a lot of outrage that day, that week, that month. And if more news comes out, it'll get reignited. But at some point, that news cycle around that particular act will die down.
Because there's so much other fuckery that comes. Yeah.
So much other stuff.
And it gets pushed to the back.
It's pushed to the back. People forget. People go on to something else. And then if you keep putting out content that people like, whether it's music, movies, whatever else, people will say, yeah, but I like this song. Yeah, but I like this movie.
Well, we have to do that now. You know, we're still listening to, I mean, they haven't taken R. Kelly off the radio. They haven't taken Diddy off the radio.
Right.
The still slaps.
Yeah, Peloton announced they're taking Diddy off the playlist. Who cares?
And who cares?
Yeah.
Because we listen to Peloton commercial anyway.
Right.
But, you know, we can't, and they didn't take the Cosby Show off TV. You know, we still.
Well, I think they did initially.
It's on.
It's back on?
It's on.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
So,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I just don't know about this one. I don't think that Diddy was such a beloved person, like a Will Smith, that you really want him back like a Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? He was cool and all that, but he was always popping off and doing the most, and, you know, he's the king of the world type thing. And there's a humbleness that make you want to forgive somebody.
I don't know.
Well, you asked me.
No, I respect your opinion. I just feel like he still has his catalog.
Yes, it's not, maybe his bag won't stop, maybe whatever like that,
Yeah.
but
He
I
still has his
don't think
catalog.
he's going to be opening the Soul Train Awards anymore, like, you know. I don't think he's gonna be there. 10 years now, I mean, I could be wrong, who knows? I don't know. It's
don't
gonna
know.
be Chris, you know, it's taking Chris this long to recover, and he ain't fully recovered. So
He's done a lot of recovering.
Yes, but he's not fully recovered because people still disrespecting him in the industry a little bit.
Yeah, but
See?
But I think, for example, like Fat Joe, he recently said, if it wasn't for the Rihanna thing, Chris Brown would be Michael Jackson right now. And I said, well, I said I disagree, because Chris, although he's a super talented singer and dancer, he's never created musical masterpieces like a Thriller or Off the Wall. He would have a song here, a song there, and they would react. But a Thriller, an Off the Wall, that was a global phenomenon.
And it's still some of my favorites.
Still something, Michael Jackson could go on any stage at his height and just stand there.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially considered the greatest Super Bowl halftime show
Live
ever.
from Bucharest.
Yes.
I know, that's where he did it.
So it's like Michael Jackson, what he created, because I feel Michael had a level of focus that nobody had.
Plus, he was trained like a racehorse.
Yes.
From the time he was 5 years old.
Exactly.
He didn't know nothing else.
He didn't know anything else.
He never worked at the Foot Locker.
Yeah.
No like that.
Right.
He'd been on the grind since he was a child. That was, part of his complaint. He never had a good childhood.
Yeah, no, like for example, and people like to forget that Michael Jackson also flopped a number of times. Like Ben, remember that album?
Yeah.
No one was checking for Ben. Now Off the Wall, people are like, oh, what is this?
Yes.
And then Thriller, and then Bad. And he had a run that was
and
like,
he had a couple of trash albums.
well, yeah, and then, but early on, like I'm saying, he was still trying to figure out his solo sound when he wasn't with his brothers. Chris just doesn't have that. He's not.
Well, he's never been part of a group either.
You're right. And I think like with Chris, he kind of got distracted with some, he like claims Mob Piru, and, he gets into various beefs and stuff like that. And it's just like, had a bunch of kids. I think he has like 3 baby mamas. And it's like.
He was in them streets for a minute.
He was in the streets, and that's fine. It's his life to live. Good for him. That's how he chose to live it. He didn't say, I'm going to focus my entire life on creating the greatest music that's ever been done in the history of the world. Like I remember reading this interview with Michael Jackson where they asked him, was he surprised that Thriller did what it did? And he said, no. He said, I wasn't. He said that when it comes to music, the way it turned out, I knew it was going to be what it was. And I was right. When you have a Thriller on your hands.
Right.
You're not saying, okay, I hope this single takes off. Thriller was just Thriller all the way through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But I honestly feel that as time goes on, and let's just say Diddy doesn't go to prison, because once you go to prison, that's how you cancel someone. You send them to prison, like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein. These are all uber talents. They can't do anything because they're locked up.
Good.
Or the person dies.
Gooder.
Whether they die of natural causes or somebody kills them, like a John Lennon. John Lennon got canceled when he got assassinated, right?
He didn't get canceled.
Well, but you understand what I'm saying, though. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's how you really stop somebody. Because people like to, I've been canceled so many times at this point. Like, yeah, Vlad's finally canceled. He's out of here. Next week, I'll drop another interview and y'all still watch. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. But I honestly feel that if enough time goes by and Diddy comes out with something that really is exceptional, I think people will f with it.
Check back with us in 10 years and we'll revisit this conversation and see where he's at. I mean, maybe, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Ray J recently did an interview where he said that everything would be different if the Kim K sex tape never existed. He said that OnlyFans wouldn't exist.
Wasn't that him and the other interview?
Who?
Ray J's interview.
Ray J and who?
And Shannon.
Shannon Sharpe? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw
Now,
it.
you had an OnlyFans at one point. Mm-hmm. Do you thank Ray J for your OnlyFans account?
No, but I certainly would have loved to do some content with him.
Yeah? Ray J. Luenell's down to do...
So I can call him.
Luenell Superstar. Is that, remember his Kim K Superstar?
The superstar of
Luenell
OnlyFans.
Superstar, part
Pew,
2.
pew, pew.
So you down to do it with Ray J, huh?
I mean, he's, you can't look into his eyes because your clothes fall off.
Oh, is that what happens?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you don't think, but it's not like porn wasn't already porn.
Right. Listen, I think that he's referring to two people that are, well, first it's a black and white issue. Let's not play like that's not a thing that, a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got this girl, you got, Brandy's brother, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
That make you want to see it. And then, just on tape, from the voyeurism aspect, that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that, what was that in A Day in Paris, Night in Paris, One Night in Paris?
Yeah, I remember, Paris Hilton, yeah.
One of the most, okay, now, I'm low-key friends with Paris.
Okay.
But I must say Paris. It's one of the most boring pieces of tape I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, oh, yawn, honey. You should have called Auntie. But that's why hers was popular out of curiosity. Mm-hmm. But it was a one watch. You know what I'm saying? You don't go, yo, look at this again. But you would with Kim and Ray J.
Really? I thought all those sex tapes were boring. I thought the
You
Tommy
watched them
Lee.
all?
Yeah, I've skimmed through all of them for, research purposes. For research purposes.
Yeah.
I watched the Kim K and I guess with me, I grew up watching porn.
Right.
And I'm used to a certain production level.
Well,
so when I see this, like...
The porn we was watching was not good, Vlad. You know that.
No, actually, it wasn't bad.
We was in the bow chicka wow wow porn
Yeah, but
era.
those were done with, like, real film cameras and real crews and stuff like that. Yeah, the quality's a little grainy now, but at the time, it actually wasn't bad. It was a steady camera, relatively good sound.
It didn't need to be that steady no way, because we were shaking.
No, but a lot of these, like, like the Kim and Tommy shit was just like, the cameras flying all over the place.
Yeah,
and
that was fantastic.
Zooming in and out of the vagina.
Yeah.
And it's
It was
like,
our home video.
It's home video. That's what I'm saying. Well, so was the Kim and the Kim and Ray J
they
one.
had a tripod or something.
Oh, did they?
I think they did.
Okay.
Because I was in
Maybe I'll
both
look
on
at
the
it
shot
again.
at the same time.
Maybe I gotta see it again. But like all these, the
research
Paris
first.
Hilton one was some home. Like a lot of this was home movies. It's interesting. I can't say with who, but someone actually approached me recently who claims they have a Diddy sex tape with a notable female, not Cassie. I'll tell you who it is after the...
Okay, because that's two things you got to tell me.
Yeah, I got two things for you. I haven't seen it yet, but they claim they have...
You gonna get it?
I would have to see it first, and then...
Call me for the screening.
For the screening?
I want to see what Diddy working with any way.
Man,
Talking
listen.
all this. If you take all that, Molly, you ain't blowing no backs out no goddamn way. That's why he's a cuckold, because his dick won't get as hard as he wanted to. Probably.
Okay.
You take all these drugs.
Yeah.
You think you killing it and you not. That's why we be laying there with our eyes rolled up to the ceiling like that.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting is Roger Bonds said that Diddy would have Cassie call him Papa, which is what she called her father. And like he even told the father, like, I'm her father now. And that whole weird, I've never understood that thing. Like, I've never liked girls calling me daddy while we're doing our thing.
Oh, but there's a whole bunch of that do.
I know, and I've never understood it. I always thought it was like incest. Like that's an incestuous term, right?
I mean, yeah.
Like, so are you saying, like, guys who like it, are they saying that they want to sleep with their daughters?
Well, maybe some do. I can't speak for all these freaky But I think that most of the time it's just a submission thing. And
But daddy?
what else would you call him?
Boss?
Boss.
Or something? You don't want to say master because then that brings in the whole slavery.
I'd have slapped out of you.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. But I'm saying, like...
I mean, it can be sexy, Vlad.
Not daddy. Not for me, at least.
You know, I mean, it has its place. But see, he was putting a different spin on it. He wasn't just, you know, he was like daddy, like I'm her master, like I got her and I done taken your place and every other place in life. It's my way or the highway. It's what I say type thing. That's what the spin he was putting on it. It was past, it wasn't even sexual.
Yeah, I'm still not with it.
Okay, well, I won't call you.
Like I said, I feel that there is a...
What about when men call a girl bitch when they... What does that mean?
Well, let me think about it. That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's actually a good question. So, I think that there is a... I could see how there's a fantasy of, you know, dominating someone. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you my bitch. Like, yeah, bitch, take this dick. Like, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I you know.
You sound like you said that before.
I probably have. I probably have.
Lord.
And, you know, I mean, there's a whole thing of, like, rough sex and everything else like that. You know, I think everyone's engaged in that to a certain degree. You know, sex is somewhat rough just by definition, right?
Hopefully.
Right? You know,
Hopefully.
who do you know that always just makes love, gentle, soft, caressing the whole time? Nah, like
Surely not me.
you're sometimes.
Surely
you know?
not me. Well, yeah, yes. So,
You know what I'm saying? Like
so
everyone,
what, so I'm
both
saying,
parties are trying to get a nut. Like, you know, there's some
but
roughness
that's
going
why
on.
I'm saying that you can't say why would a girl call a man daddy without saying why would a man call a girl that he loved.
But there's not but there's an incest. Like I'm saying there's an incest part of it, which I don't understand.
Well,
to
and
me, there is nothing attractive about incest. Nothing.
well, it's
Whether
in the
it's-
Bible. You know, it happened.
Incest in the Bible? Yeah, who?
I'll tell you after the show.
After the show. Okay. Well, what do you think about Sher and that whole situation with Amber Rose's baby daddy? You love it?
Get it, Sher.
Right. She's
Get it.
184 years old. And
Oh my
he's-
God! What did you say?
Let's look up the age. Hold on. Sher.
She's
age,
She's 78.
78.
Years young, and she been a boss for 60 of them years.
He is 37.
Yum.
Half her age and then some.
And
Have you ever dated half your age?
I wouldn't call it dating.
Yeah. I mean, look. They seem happy together.
That's what I'm getting. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting. Their affair has even made it into my act. I actually speak on this and this affair in my act. I'm in full support.
What do you say?
I can't tell you because you
Okay.
have to come and see my act.
Okay, fair enough. Because remember there was that whole fight that happened between like Tiger's friend and Cher's boyfriend over the Travis Scott, whatever. It was like a big mess. And she was like, yeah, my man took them all on. And listen,
Sher is happy. She's 78.
yes.
Okay? So we have to live for today. You know, if he is making her feel vibrant and excited, and if he's not bringing no bunch of drama to her life, and if they're holding hands and kiss on the red carpet and they're having fun, she's certainly got paid the cost to be the boss. Then, I mean, who's to say what this like this going in reverse all over the country?
Oh, yeah.
And it's no big deal for, you know, some old-ass, decrepit-ass, impotent-ass man to have a hot-ass chick on his arm, i.e., look at Russell Simmons' little
Yeah.
old daughter.
Yeah.
How hot in the ass daughter out there with that old man.
You know what's crazy? Is that guy went to Russell and Kamora's wedding.
Now, he a pedophile.
He was scoping her before she was even born.
Yeah. Did you see his little bathing suit? So
Yeah.
you know he ain't doing nothing. He probably, licking her little pussy, and she probably letting him. Now, she's the one calling somebody daddy.
They broke up, apparently.
Yeah, immediately. After the then it was over.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I remember I saw this video. It was like this viral TikTok video of this girl whose stepdad that's been in her life since she was like 6 years old.
Married?
Well, he basically...
Woody Allen did it.
You know what I'm talking about then, right?
Mm-hmm.
He basically came out to her and said that he had always been in love with her. And she was just like... And she started to like kind of relive all the various weird moments throughout all the years. And she's like, I don't know, like 25 now or something. And it was like, whoa.
Creepy as that.
That's creepy. That's creepy. Look, I mean, TK Kirkland, our last interview, said that men should not be stepdads. It's just too much responsibility. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
With your daughter, did you have a stepdad in her life?
I had a stepdad, and my daughter had a stepdad.
Aha! And there was never anything improper on any level?
Yes, with me, there was. With my daughter, no.
Okay. So your stepdad did inappropriate things with you?
Absolutely.
And I feel that happens way too often.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horrible opportunity because you've got a girl in the house who's taking baths and running around in pajamas and stuff like that. And if you have a predator in the house, that's easy prey for him. But you have to, and sometimes you don't know certain things about a man until you get him in that situation, I guess.
Yeah.
In my case, I knew what type of man I was married. My husband, who is not my daughter's father, and who has 3 daughters of his own, was so careful not to line step that if my daughter got up in the middle of the night and got in bed with us, he'd get out to bed and go sleep on the couch. So, everybody's not a off like that, but there are, if it happens at all, it's too much.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting and creepy because you're looking at somebody, a kid, who thinks they got somebody they can rely on. Thinks they got somebody they can depend on. And this is looking to put their finger in your pussy.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
I mean, Nicki Minaj's brother is in prison right now for molesting his stepdaughter.
She's got a type, don't she? Brother.
Husband, yeah. Registered sex offender.
Yeah, not
The
like
fact
Nicki.
that you could actually look up her address, like I've done this just to see if I could do it. I literally found out exactly where she lives in Hidden Hills by looking him up.
Because he has to
He's on the
register.
sex offender registry. So there he is, that little red whatever, at her house.
That's unfortunate. What did her brother do?
He repeatedly molested his wife's daughter.
Oh.
Over the course of years. And I guess the daughter's brother, I guess, kind of knew about it also and came forward at one point. And
See, which goes back to Diddy and his people. This boy knew about it, came forward.
I think it was a young boy. Yeah, he came forward. Exactly.
Came
He
forward.
came forward, right. Yeah, he wasn't trying to hide it or anything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, listen.
He didn't see it going on. It was like, well, he was like, this is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, when I had, Miss Pat on the show, her mom, was a single mom with a few kids, and she was really, really poor, like couldn't afford to pay her bills or whatever else. And at one point, this married man started coming around and started molesting Pat. And I said, did the mother know? And she said, yeah, but she knew, and the man would tell her, if you say anything, I'm going to stop helping you guys out. And, she was like, well, their life got a lot better when this man started coming around, and this was the price of it, unfortunately. But the mom knew. And basically allowed it to happen. And it's horrific.
I have asked my daughter over and over and over and over again throughout her life. Has anybody ever, do you feel a certain way? And she has grown up and has escaped that from what she tells me and from her behavior tells me that she has escaped that. But she said if it did happen, she would be afraid to tell me because she know that she's going to lose me to the penal system.
You kill him. Yeah?
Off the rip. If you touch my daughter,
Yeah?
I'm not having it. And I mean that. And I still mean that. And she's
Yeah.
grown. If somebody put their hands on my daughter, to God be the glory. And I'll die. Because that's what a mother would do.
Right.
A mother will, die for their kid.
as you should.
I'll die trying to protect mine.
Well, when I was going through YouTube clips this morning, I actually found a clip that your daughter was on Ilyana's Fix My Life.
Yes.
It was,
Iyanla.
how do you pronounce it?
Iyanla.
Iyanla, sorry.
Yeah.
Iyanla's Fix My Life.
Mm-hmm.
Were you part of that also, or just your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Both you guys were on. When you watched the part with your daughter, how did you feel?
Well, it was very hard for me to shut the up because I feel on that episode that I didn't get to also say what I feel. We have to listen to the kids, and we're told to listen to the kids, and we need to listen to the kids. My only issue ever with my kid has been a slick mouth. And a lot of these kids today talk to their parent in such a way that I'm appalled. Yes, we did not, growing up, I did not get the freedom to talk to my parents, tell them what I thought, what I wanted, or any of that, because it didn't matter, my way, highway type. However, that's not the case with me. And I when I did shut the up and listen, it was an eye-opening moment, and I have tried, failed, tried again to rectify some of the behaviors that my daughter brought to my attention. But, at the end of the day, I'm the mama,
I mean, are you glad you guys did it, or do you regret the whole thing?
No, I don't regret it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you did an interview on Fox where one of the interviewers was Al Reynolds. And you asked him, and Al Reynolds used to be married to Star Jones.
Right.
But Al Reynolds is clearly gay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you asked him whether Star knew he was gay, and he said yes.
He said, I've always been honest with everybody I've dated about my sexual preferences. That's actually what he said.
What does that mean?
Well, I think that it meant that Star knew what I like. However, there's video of Al saying, I am not homosexual.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it in my phone if you want to see it.
No, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like, like for example, my beef with Monique's husband goes back a bunch of years. I've talked about this before. And I feel like to this day, the reason why they pulled the they did about not having the interview come out is because I asked about the gay questions. I said, you guys, had an open marriage. Does that mean that you can sleep with men and women? And he sort of he kind of awkwardly laughs it off. And then, I remember the whole thing when Monique was on Club Shay Shay, she was upset. She would say how the beef with DL started was when she came on the show, they asked, would you rather your husband have sex with a man or have sex with Superhead without a condom? And she got really upset over that. Which, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a gay man in the closet. I'm not saying it's true. Can't sue me over it. But I just wouldn't be surprised based on the mannerisms and everything else like that. But I feel like most women can't deal with the embarrassment of the world knowing that their husband is gay.
Or the AIDS. Let's not forget that. See, I'm glad we're going to address this because here we go.
Let's go.
First of all, I have never asked to be on Fox Soul. I have been asked to be on Fox Soul because Claudia Jordan is my friend. And when when she has asked me when I've been available, I've done it. I did it recently, a couple of weeks before the Reynolds incident, and the ratings were good, and people were like, oh, Luenell, we really enjoy her, and everything like that. Now, I've been always wanting to have the opportunity. I wouldn't care if it was on Fox Soul or at a cocktail party. I've always wanted to ask Al, did Star know who she was marrying when she married him? Is it my business? No. Do I have the right to ask the question if I want to? Sure. Do he have the right to not answer the question? Absolutely. But I've always wanted to know. I mean, there's things you want to know about stars.
Yeah.
I got the balls to ask them. They don't have to answer me if they don't want to. So the people who think that Claudia put me up to doing something, that's not true. Also, I wanted to ask him, because I knew there was tape of him saying that he's not homosexual, and because I watched TGIF, and I've seen him talk about all his sexual exploits and going in and belong to a gay sex club that you use condoms and they're very responsible and you have to fill out paperwork and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
I've heard him talk about this on the show. So I'm like, well, as a black woman who are amongst other millions of black women who get duped by men who like to sleep with men, but they go out with women as a beard, and because of the rising number in black women who are contracting AIDS from men who are doing the same thing, I just wanted to know, was he honest with Star when they got married? Then he answered that answer. And then I said, so Star knew she was marrying a gay man? And then I don't know what happened after that. I don't know exactly what happened after that. But I think I was like, oh, okay. I think, okay. And I just blew it off and they went on with the show. So ain't nobody putting me up to shit. Can't nobody putting me up to shit. I don't work for Fox Soul. I think there's a mandate where they can't ask him about her. What's that all about? Well, I don't work there, so I can ask him whatever I want to. And all I did was ask a question. Everything that happened after that, I had nothing to do with that. I was in another state doing shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when women get mad at men, a lot of times they'll call them gay as like they'll try to weaponize it. Oh, you're really gay. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, as a slur.
As a slur. Like, you're gay. Like, you know, I've kind of argued with women. They're like, yeah, Vlad, you're gay.
Well, that
it's
gets
like,
thrown
I'm not
around
gay,
too much.
so I don't know.
That gets thrown around too much.
Yeah.
But then also, if you say you're bisexual, we do say you're gay.
Well, yeah, I think that's
Because
gay.
most of the bisexual men that I see, I never see them out with the women.
Right.
I only see you out with the boys.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you want to be gay, be gay. And I'm sure that there's lots of women out
point.
there.
That's the point.
Listen, like, how many men have been with women, involved with women, and they had threesomes with other women?
Right.
I've done it plenty of times. And like the women I've been with, they'll do threesomes, but they prefer guys. Like they won't get into relationships with women. But that's just...
Wait a minute, what? So the threesomes, wait a minute.
Yeah.
The threesomes with the women that you've had threesomes with,
Yes.
has the women have wanted it to be two guys?
No, that's not what I'm saying. No.
They wanted it to be two girls and a guy.
And a guy.
Well, yeah, clearly,
Yeah, exactly.
because, I can speak on this, because it's very hard to get from the back and suck a dick at the same time. The rhythm is off.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but I mean, like women are open to having threesomes. I found sometimes to please the man, sometimes they actually like it.
Yeah.
But I've never been with a woman that actually would actually have a full-blown relationship, like a monogamous relationship with a woman.
Oh.
They've always been into men, but that's just my experience. I'm sure there's lots of women that have done both.
Yeah, there's gay couples
Yeah.
who fuck
Yeah.
guys sometimes.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
Girls, I mean, you know.
But like, I've almost feel like with men, if you're bisexual, you're really into men, but you'll like have a beard or you'll want kids with a woman.
Yeah.
But you're really into men.
Yeah.
You
We
see what I'm
feel that
saying?
way too. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
So, having said that, all I was asking was, so Star knew this? You know, that's, because, you know, I know that a lot of it was about the wedding, and she wanted to have the wedding, and she'd have somebody to have a wedding with, and it was amazing. But still, even if if I'm going to marry a gay guy and we're going to front off, at least I know.
Yeah.
You know, at least I know. And we're going to have a fabulous wedding. And we're going to have separate bedrooms, okay? Or something like that.
Yeah.
But to get duped, if you duped her, then that's not fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Look, then you got your guy, Darius McCrary. Him and Sydney Starr are kind of a thing now, it seems. You know about this?
Yes.
That was a bit of a shocker. I've interviewed Darius before.
Well, clearly not deep enough.
Not deep enough. No Diddy. I mean, it's interesting when obviously he has kids. Him and Corinne Steffens had a thing going on at one point.
They were married.
Oh, yeah, were they married?
Yes, they were married.
Okay. I'm not sure, but you might be right.
I'm sure.
You're sure? Okay. And I've interviewed Corinne before.
Mm-hmm.
I've interviewed Darius before.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sydney Starr thing kind of caught me off guard a little bit. But then again, what's the guy from New York Undercover? Remember he came forward? Malik Yoba. Hey, look, it's...
Trans women need love too,
Trans
goddammit.
women need love
Trans
too.
women need love too.
You know, and people are shocked when they hear all this stuff about, Diddy's sexual exploits and Darius McCrary and Malik Yoba. But, like, the reality is, how much do you really know about a person's sex life? Unless they're really
Unless
out
you're
there
fucking them,
talking
right.
about, I'm like, how much do you really know about my sex life? I've said a few stories in the course of my interviews, but who really knows what I do behind closed doors? It could be totally different. You know?
Yeah.
No one's come forward and be like, yeah, this is what Vlad does in the bedroom, and I got...
No, nobody said that.
No one said this. So I could be into all types of weird...
Yes.
I'm not, but I could be. So when you find out this stuff, it's shocking just because... you never really know what happens in these bedrooms.
That's right.
And look, if you're into trans, okay. I've always felt like when Mr. C died, he should have had his trans friends show up and represent at the funeral. But I guess that didn't happen. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sydney Starr's a beautiful bitch. Dick or no dick.
I mean, Sydney, I feel is, and I've interviewed Sydney before a couple times. It was always remote. I was never in the same room with her.
Oh.
Is she post-op or pre-op? I guess she's...
I don't know. I would say
Post-op,
Post.
I think.
Yeah.
I think post-op. So she's had the
But I
operation.
don't know. Yeah, I think she's still... I don't know.
Look, I feel like if you are so sure about how you want to be that you would actually cut your penis off, create a vagina, essentially have an open wound for the rest of your life. And from what I understand, they have to take a lot of antibiotics and stuff like that because it's not exactly a open and shut operation. It's something that really is very involved. Thank you for the word. If you go through all that and you don't regret it and you feel like you made the right decision, then I fully support what you've done.
Yeah.
Who am I to say you shouldn't have done that?
That's right.
Now, a lot of people have done that operation, have seriously regretted it.
Yes.
So there's that part.
Right.
But Sydney doesn't seem like she falls into that category.
Sydney seems fine.
Sydney feels totally fine.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of Sydney as a little boy. You know, it looks a little bit feminine. Like I could sort of, you know, see kind of the thing. You know, I think she's done facial surgery and she had her body done and whatever else. If she's happy as she is, bravo. I've interviewed her multiple times.
Did she seem happy to you?
She seems happy to me.
Okay, me too.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't like the way that she lied about Chingy. I thought that was foul, and we talked about that on camera. You know, Chingy kind of got run through the ringer over that. And she even said it was just fake. All it was a photo at a club. You know how it is. How many club pictures have you taken over the years, or just random in the street pictures? Hundreds? Thousands? Millions. Now, if you were forced to explain who this person is in the photo and their background.
Now, see, let me tell you something I do these days.
What's that?
If a friend of mine brings a friend of theirs or a couple, I won't take pictures with them without the friend that brought them. And the friend that brought them can't be on the end where they can be cut off. You got to be in here so that these people can't say, me and Luenell as friends, we kick it all the time. I'm there because of this person put me in the photo with you. That's what I do.
I kind of just don't care. If you want to take a photo with me.
Okay, but I'm saying, I don't, what if you're an asshole? You're at the show, but what if I find out you molest kids? Now there's a picture of me and this together, like we kick it.
And I can explain, and I you know, like, listen,
nobody cares about the explanation.
I'm coming out of a barber shop, and this guy's like, hey, Vlad, can you take a picture of me and my daughter? Sure, go ahead.
Social media don't care about that. They make up their own.
Listen,
so I don't need this.
I have never said no.
I'm just telling you what I do.
I have never said no to a photo because I feel like.
But we're not in the same lane we're not in the same lane like that. People go manic, you know, when they see me. Not to be cocky, but it's like I'm their auntie or something like that, and they really, 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 really want it. Yeah. You can probably escape it easier than I can walking through the Beverly Hills Mall. Just saying. So that's why I have just become in my old age a little more strategic with who I take pictures with, because it has been that people will use me for an advertisement or say that we're kicking it like that when we're not. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a picture of me alone with nobody else.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I just take the
listen, you're definitely a lot more famous than I am. I'm not trying to.
I mean, you're interviewing me, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm behind the camera.
I'm gonna interview your ass.
Yeah, I got you when you got your show coming up.
That's right.
Yeah, but like, I just always feel like if you are going out your way to ask for a photo and it's clear that you've watched my videos before, I'm always gonna say yes.
And I say yes a lot too.
And like sometimes if I'm like eating or something, like I'm in Miami, a Pollo Tropical, and a guy,
because they don't care.
I'll be like, hey, listen, I'll take the photo. Let me just finish my meal. But I'm right here. Hang out.
And that problem is, that sounds rational. That sounds doable.
Right.
But people want what they want. They want the right to now. They don't care if you're eating. They don't care if you're with your kid. They don't care none of that. They're like, you know, I've had people sit down, take the out my hand, and reach around and try to do a selfie like that. And then, you know, that didn't end up.
No, I've never had that.
Well, yeah.
I've
so
never
the
had
people
that.
that want photos, you can say that. That's why people will follow a bitch into the bathroom, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Because I, too, you know, might have to go poo. And now here the you are. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't wait. Like, don't stop a bitch or anybody going into the bathroom. Because guess what? They got to come out. So I should wait till they come out, wash hands.
There's no back door in the bathroom.
They want what they want right now. That's the problem.
No, you're right. Listen, you're way more famous than I am, so what you go through is not what I go through. I'm just like, yo, no problem. Because I know that saying no will carry a whole lot more than saying yes.
Sure.
When you say no, that person will hate you forever. They'll talk bad about you. They'll make fake accounts.
The same with me, though. They loved you 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You said no, and I was like, bitch, I didn't want a picture with you, no way. What? You know? Or if you take a picture, if I were to take a picture, not so much because, you know, I'd be doing my lives and I'd be looking any kind of way, but if I was to take a picture and look like up or have some food in your teeth or something like that. And it goes all the way left, and people can take that innocent photo and it can turn into a whole show in the hands of the wrong person or the wrong people on social media. So I take them. I try to look as best as I can. Even when I look not that great, I still try to take them. But every now and then, I'm only human.
Yeah, no, listen, I was in New York last week and I'm coming out the barber shop and I'm not camera ready, the way I usually am. And the guy was like, hey, can you take, Vlad, I'm a fan. Can I take a picture with, me and my daughter? And I'm like, how am I supposed to say no to this guy's daughter?
I know.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, fine. No problem.
I don't like when people shove their kids at me. Be like, will you take a picture of my 6-year-old kid? I'm like, your 6-year-old kid don't know me and is too young to even know me. Why not?
Your 6-year-old should be watching my stand-ups anyways.
What am I doing this for?
Yeah, I usually take it with the father and the kid.
You'd be surprised. That's why I know.
Me and the kid. Yeah, I've never been asked to just take a picture. Well, no, actually, I think I have. I think the father took a picture of me and his son at a grocery store once.
Sometimes they'll shove those in front of you.
Yeah, the kid was maybe 10.
Or they'll send the kid. I'll be in a restaurant. They'll send it. Go say, Miss Luenell, go tell Miss Luenell how much you love her and tell her you want to take a picture. And I'll be like, did mommy send you over here? Yes, she's right over there. Like, you go back and tell that bitch that I said stop sending her over. Have a nice day.
I just found out that your ex-husband passed away.
Yes.
And you said this was the love of your life.
Absolutely.
How long were you guys together?
Well, we were actually, we got married a month before 9/11. So we were married, what is this, it'd be like 23 years. No, I divorced him 8 years ago, but we were together a long, 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 long time.
I met him before, right?
On and off.
With the dreadlock?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Yes.
Nice guy. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I mean, you guys were divorced, but did you guys still stay in contact a lot?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't for a long time.
Huh.
We were separated for a long time, not my choice. But he actually, we got married so quick. We got married in 90 days. Didn't know each other, didn't know. He was everything I prayed for, but you got to be specific in your prayer. I was like, I want somebody who supports me, who don't want to be in the limelight, who loves me as I am, who understands me. I said all that, and I got all that. I forgot to say, oh, by the way, Lord, let him not love cocaine so much.
Yeah, you talked about this before.
And so, yeah, he had a drug issue, and we separated for like 11 years, broke my heart. And then when I was able to, we were able to reach each other again. He had prostate cancer. He had strokes. I went with him through radiation and all this, and he had to have a heart monitor, and then he got COPD, which I blame the crack for that. And it just was bad, 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 bad. And he was very sick for, like the last 5 years, bad. And, he just finally used to have seizures, and then he just stopped breathing. So at least he's through with all that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he came with you to one of our interviews, and just a nice, cool guy. Had a really cool spirit about him.
Yeah,
he's very mellow, easygoing. I'm like, okay, I can see the vibe between y'all.
See this.
Yeah, I can see this.
So you're lucky if you get one in your lifetime. At least I know what it feels like to have been, wifey, and had a semi-normal life. Because when I moved from Oakland to LA, that's when I transitioned with him. We went through all the shits out here, the good, the bad, the highs, the lows, and, did the struggle together. And he was always very supportive and never was a thirsty, wasn't into pictures and all that. But I couldn't even find him in the club. He used to be watching me, you know what I'm saying? And helped with all the merch and all that kind of stuff. So he was really, really great guy and definitely going to be missed.
You gonna get remarried?
Never.
Never. You're sure about that?
No, I'm not sure.
So the man of your dreams walks in the room. Who knows?
I just can't see it because if you're married, you're supposed to live together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got my own house, and I don't want to go nowhere. I'll visit. Then they probably would have their own house. They don't want, I don't see how, unless you're young and build together, I don't see how you merge together unless he keep his house, you keep your house, and y'all buy a house together and do that house. And we got our share.
Yeah, but as you get older, all that traditional really kind of goes out.
Okay, then I'll be fine. I can get married if he stay over there and I stay over there.
And you got your house.
It worked for Diddy and Kim and Victor Moan. You remember them?
Yeah, exactly. And he'll stay at your house part of the time. Maybe you'll stay at his
cool.
house.
We can do that.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to have kids anymore.
Hell no.
So,
However, the gentleman I get with probably will have kids. As you know, I only date younger men.
Yeah. So, you never know. You're out there. I'm sure.
I'm not opposed to that either.
I'm sure you get some DMs. Some dudes sliding your DMs every so often.
Everybody just want to. They don't really want to be down.
Yeah, but that's how it starts sometimes. It starts.
I wish I would. You know how old I am. I can just be jumping up and down in nobody.
Yeah, how many relationships? I mean, they just started. We just. Next thing you know, you've been for 2 years.
What does that say about me if I random out the DM? I'm a whore.
Are you though?
Yes. Yeah.
But everyone's random when you meet them.
No,
Everyone's
because
random.
if you meet somebody, okay, so if you meet somebody in the DM who's been writing you consistently, and you may blow them off, and then maybe one day they may catch your eye and you start a conversation. Then you exchange numbers. Then you talk on the phone. You are slowly getting to notice at least what they tell you, rather than just, hey, how you doing? Meet me at Starbucks and go to this hotel across the way. And now you don't get a celebrity for nothing. Not happening. Plus you might rob me because this is a schemy, scammy, nasty, f***ed up world.
I mean, I met people off the internet, my internet dating days, and we've had a date and had sex that same night, and then it turned into something.
Everybody used to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
Everybody, there wasn't no DMs. We was at the grocery store. That's, I mean, that shit happened.
Yeah.
I ain't no saint. I'm just saying at this station of my career and my life, I can't afford to be sucking dicks off a DM.
Well, that's what it is. Luenell, always a pleasure. This is our first interview of 2024.
It is.
Because our last one, I think, was December 2023.
23. I have been very busy.
Extremely busy. This is why you haven't seen Luenell on as much as like a TK Kirkland or a Boosie. It's not because we don't.
He's been trying to get me.
We've been in contact the whole time. Yeah.
But when I had a moment, what did I do?
You hit me up and said, hey, I got the
this
next 2 days available. Let's do it on Saturday because Friday's my birthday and I don't want to do any work on my birthday.
Morton's.
That's right. On Saturday, we hooked it up and,
And I fly out of this bitch in like 3 hours.
There we go. Until next time.
Until next time.
Peace.